So I mentioned that Jeffrey read a different passage from within the same parsha today to 3 years ago. And I want to ask you, which came first? The passage Jeffrey read from the scroll 3 years ago, Revelation at Sinai, the Ten Commandments, or the passage that Jeffrey read today, the profound encounter between Moses and his father-in-law? Which came first? This one came first. All right, so Nora's saying that this one came first, that Moses encounters his father-in-law before Revelation at Sinai, but actually it's not, well, maybe it's not entirely, I'm not going to disagree with you, I don't think, Nora, it's not entirely a technical question. So the passage that Jeffrey read today, Yitro and Moses encountering each other, is, as Nora says, the beginning of the Torah portion. So in a sense, it clearly comes first. It comes first in the Torah. And the fact that it does come first could teach us something. The fact that we get the personal encounter before Sinai, we might learn from this that we must carefully listen to another human being face to face in an everyday way in order to get to the most important life-changing revelations. However, there's also good reason to say that Sinai came first, that Sinai came before the encounter with Yitro, and that the Torah switches the order of these episodes in its narration. So Rabbi Ibn Ezra in the 12th century is the strongest proponent of this view, that the second chapter actually comes first. And to give you a couple pieces of evidence, and I think they're compelling enough, Yitro tells to Moses that he should make clear to the people all the laws and God's statutes to spread the load, which could rather suggest that those laws and statutes have already been received. Secondly, when Moses later narrates these experiences in chapter 1 of Deuteronomy, he says, we were at the mountain first, and then afterwards, it became clear that leadership needed to be shared. So Moses himself seems to narrate it in reverse order. Ibn Ezra says that the Torah narrates the encounter of Yitro before Sinai out of chronological order for thematic and pedagogical coherence. Just before this parsha, we heard about Amalek, this other people that preys on the vulnerable. So now Ibn Ezra says, we need to hear about Yitro, who commits solidarity to the vulnerable and to the God of the vulnerable. It's as if to teach you, you thought other people could be like this, but while we're at it, remember that you can appreciate the deepest kindness and solidarity. So we could learn something different from the way Ibn Ezra orders these portions. We could learn not to prejudge or generalize people, to be open to encounters with others. So which did come first, Yitro or Sinai? I think you can make either claim and learn something valuable from both, prioritizing personal encounter and resisting prejudice. But in this debate, there's also a broader principle or debate at play about the very nature of Torah and how to read it. There is a claim most strongly made in general by Rabbi Nachmanides in 13th century Spain, that ein mukdam umurha b'Torah. There is no before or after in the Torah. The suggestion is that frequently in the Torah, if we listen carefully, we can see that the order resists chronology. Things are told later that happened earlier. It's an achronological text. Rashi, the 11th century French commentator, does disagree and claims in general, yesh mukdam u'murcha b'Torah. The Torah is given more or less according to its chronology. There is a before and after. So when judging between these approaches, Of course, there's a sensibleness to respecting structures and the chronology in which you encounter something. But I am compelled by the idea that ein mukdam umurcha b'Torah, that there's no before or after in our Torah. Because to me it conveys that the most important moments somehow transcend or pierce time. When you really feel something, whether that be in learning or encounter, you connect and you find a time out of time. We can seek moments that connect us to others, to other times, to ourselves, to the power of connection that resists chronology. And these moments are more important than all of our busyness. The ancient Greeks recognized two forces of time. There was chronos, time in the sense that we're most aware of, the time that ticks, accumulates and passes. But there was also kairos, and this is time that is dear, deep time. Kairos is associated with moments that matter, that we'll remember and hold on to. Experiencing these profound moments may also better equip us to act right in the moment. The idea that there's no before or after in the Torah can guide us to search for ein mukdam, ve'ein murcha, b'chayim, moments in life that are timeless, invaluable. As many of you know, I did the funeral for Benedict Romain this week. I knew Ben from when he was 16 and I was 22, and I led him and 40 other 16-year-olds around the Holy Land for a month. We led with some difficulty. Now, very sadly, Ben recently died, age 34, on his honeymoon in the Philippines in a riptide. And it's a devastating loss. I really want to learn something in Ben's memory. He had the most extraordinary, inexhaustible capacity for fun. He really brought the good times while being beautifully kind. He was almost always the heart and soul in any occasion. One of his brothers, Matt, was once going to meet his own future in-laws in Austria. He brought Ben for some snowboarding with him. This was a big mistake. Matt's future in-laws really loved Ben. In the lockdowns, Ben put a skating half pipe, which is not a small object, a skating half pipe, which Ben made himself, time on your hand in the lockdowns, is something that you skateboard and it's huge. Ben put a skating half pipe in his and his wife Stella's bedroom. The landlord still doesn't know about it, although the Sun newspaper did interview Ben regarding it. He also patiently taught Stella, his wife, to skate at age 30. He spread joy by making things for people. He was a talented sculptor. He made an extraordinary activity set for his baby nephew, Reuben, and he made a beautiful sculpture in front of his father's synagogue, and a striking pizza cutter for Stella. He sought encounter in music as well. He played the piano, the saxophone, and the clarinets. And Stella told me that when they were at festivals, any music from brass instruments had a strong chance of making Ben cry. He had a huge heart. He brought the best times. We can each seek more of the best times. In Ben's memory, and also inspired by the Torah's invitation to seek timeless moments. Allow yourself to be pulled towards those times that are timeless, rather than overscheduling all of the doing. Those best times that pierce time are those of encounter with other people, with learning, with ideas. To engage in moments that resist chronology, we might simply make more Torah time with Torah. It connects us to ourselves, to others, and to those before us. When Jeffrey read his parsha today, celebrating his second bar mitzvah, he's connecting with so many, with so much, with himself from years ago, and those that were with him, with those who are with him now, so loved, who he has grown with and now brings together, with those who made that check scroll and read from it and repaired it. And in our Judaism, when we learn, when we read or hear Torah, we're standing again at Sinai. We're in time out of time, moved by eternally challenging truths, eternally challenged by difficulties, enjoying company and encounter with those who have gone before us, and encounter with the now too. So I'm not sure which came first, Yitro or Sinai, but let us put first and foremost in our lives those moments that transcend time. Shabbat Shalom.